starting off, I mean, you were in the booth day one. You saw this team come its way up in the preseason. Did you see this coming?
I wish I could say that. I wish I could be the expert on here and say, yeah, I saw them play in the preseason. I knew they were going to have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl. I did not. What I did see in the preseason was a team that had a little bit of a newfound energy, a team that had a leader at the helm and Mike Vrabel who knew what it took to get to this point. And it was just going to be a matter of how fast he can get this team to buy in and to click. And even when you go past the preseason, remember the first game, they lost to the Las Vegas Raiders, the team that has the first overall pick. And every question after that game was, is there too much on Drake May's plate? The new system under Josh McDaniels, can he handle it? And we're talking about the defensive side of the ball, the amount of big plays they were giving up. Is this thing going to work this season? And then they go on the road and they beat Miami and they start to figure things out. And you go from that beginning of that season, no one could have predicted, I think even the people in that locker room, that they would be here. But I think there was a sense of belief that what they were doing was the right path and it was the right direction. And they've gotten full buy-in from a lot of free agent veterans, which isn't easy to do in year one with a brand new head coach. You look at the relationship with Vrabel and Diggs and Jalen Hawkins and all of those guys, when you see the interactions on the sideline of Vrabel after the game, it's those little things and the chemistry that was built throughout the course of the season that's led them to where they are now.
Definitely reminds us of what he was hearing there back in the early weeks. I can tell you that he still remembers. When you turn on the tape, how much has this group evolved over the course of this season? Going looking back to day one.
They've evolved a lot. And I think specifically, you look at these two performances on the defensive side of the ball, what they've been able to do. And a ton of credit goes to Zach Core, the defensive play caller who took over for Terrell Williams with everything that he's battled with his health. And their ability to kind of morph into things to defeat the offense. They brought a lot more blitz and bringing guys and getting pressure on the quarterback. They've taken the football away. They've been all over the field and they've confused offenses and quarterbacks. We've watched Justin Herbert and then CJ Stroud play two of their worst games of the season against this defense with things that they've been able to do. And then obviously the evolution of Drake May. I mean, this is a guy that is an MVP candidate that will either win the award or finish second to Matthew Stafford. His ability to throw the ball down the field, game in and game out, has been a superpower of his and has been a real weapon for this offense. So I think the small things that you kind of don't talk about as often, but I think Ramondre Stevenson is a huge example of who this team is and the belief that they have. He obviously dealt with fumbling issues a season ago. He comes in this year. He has some of that happen early on in the season. And right away, Vrabel says, I'm sticking with him. I know we're going to need him to get to where we want to get. You fast forward to the divisional round, in the fourth quarter, they get a two-score lead. They get the ball backed up, and what do? They hand the ball off to Ramondre Stevenson, six offensive linemen on the field, and they pound Houston two series in a row to really put that game away. So I think that's been the evolution of this team as they've gone throughout the season.
Speaking about quarterbacks, I was asking Milton Williams in the locker room this week, what do you know about Jarrett Stidham? And his answer was nothing. Uh, he was like, just being honest. What sort of challenge does that present going up against the backup quarterback who hasn't played a game in a couple years?
It's the fear of the unknown. I think we all have that in different aspects of our lives. And football, it manifests even more because I think about when you're getting ready for just a regular season game, the amount of prep that goes in, the amount of film, the breakdown of plays and tendencies. And now when you're getting ready to play in an AFC championship game, you're dialed in even more. And it's so hard to go back and look at film from 2023 or the preseason with Jarrett Stidham. So for a lot of those guys, you're trying to look at what Bo Nix has done for this offense and how Sean Payton has called it, but you're also trying to envision Jarrett Stidham in there, but you don't know the things that Jarrett Stidham likes within this offense. So from being Stidham's teammate back in 2019 and 20, they're going to get a guy that plays with a ton of confidence, that has some athletic ability, not as much as Bo Nix, but can get outside the pocket. And they're getting a guy that plays from a cerebral standpoint and he'll be able to anticipate and make some throws. He's obviously not the starter for a reason. He's not as good as Bo Nix, but he's going to pose a challenge for them. But that is the difficulty of getting ready for a quarterback when you don't know a lot about him.
How often do you think Josh McDaniels is walking down the hall to the defensive side there, just to give them a little scouting report this week. Are they getting their scouting report from Josh?
I do think that the defensive coaches probably did a debrief with Josh early on in the week to kind of get just, hey, what are the things that Stidham likes? McDaniels coached him in New England. He coached him with the Raiders. So he has an idea of what he's going to like. Now, you only have a week to prepare for this game. Josh has his own stuff to deal with of getting ready for that Denver Broncos defense. But I think back to when I was on that team and Josh McDaniels was our offensive coordinator, myself, Deron Harmon, my brother, Dev, we would spend lunch and we'd be in the cafeteria and Josh would always come in and have lunch with us and we would sit down and talk about from a defensive standpoint and about it and from an offensive standpoint. So if that still is going on, I can see if I was in that building this week and that lunch period, we'd sit down and our entire conversation would be with Josh. What is Stidham like? How can we rattle him? What are disguises on defense? What are the things that we can do that can potentially confuse him from your time being with him, of sitting down there asking him the things he liked, the things he didn't like, and the things that gave him issues?
Be a fly on the wall, man. Think about like talking about your run, your first playoff run with the Patriots, obviously like ending as good as it can. Uh, how just what are the Patriots in for? Especially the guys who have not experienced this before, going into an AFC title fight on the road at Mile High, where the Patriots have never won a playoff game. What sort of environment is waiting for them? How much does it? How much more intense does it get each level up in the playoffs?
Man, I would say to those guys, like, get ready for the most fun you're gonna have in your entire life. And for me, I didn't get to experience that until my 10th year in the NFL. So I had 9 years of seasons where we did not make the playoffs. Majority of those were losing seasons. So I go back to going to Arrowhead on the road in the AFC Championship game and fast forward winning that game and beer bottles being thrown at us. Most fun ever because you go in there and everybody's booing you, everybody's against you, and the slogan they have, "We all we got, we're all we need." Like that is the pure definition of being in that atmosphere. And to your point, the intensity is ratcheted up. Every play matters that much more. The attention to detail throughout the course of the week. When you see something in the game on Sunday that you reviewed on Wednesday and it happens, can you anticipate it and go make the play? Like all of those emotions, all of the work you put in from spring and OTAs through training camp, it all comes down to this one game. So yes, the stakes are extremely high, but you've been building your entire lifetime of playing football for these moments. So you go in and you embrace it. And I think being on the road, it would be awesome to be in Foxborough in front of your fans. But man, being on the road, there's something special about that. I remember the night before the game, me, Deb, Duran, and Kyle Van Noy, we went to a barbecue spot in Kansas City and just took it all in. And fans were super nice to us there. But those are the moments that you look back on and you remember. And I remember sitting in that locker room after the game and yelling at the guys, like, I finally get my opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. So those are just special moments, the entire trip, flight, and all of that out there that they're always going to remember.
Was it Oklahoma Joe's?
It was what was it, KC 39 or something like that we
Oh,
went to. That was they had some really good burnt ends. So
well
it was
played.
a good meal night before.
You know. Just wrapping up. I mean, a couple notes there about the offense. You mentioned Drake going to a place, leading the Patriots to a place where they have never won, as I mentioned in the postseason. As I'm sure you've heard there over the course of this week, it's been
Yeah,
brought up time
yeah.
and time again. How, when you think about like the chance, I mean, the franchise record, there are not too many like records left to be set in the Patriots, like record books there with Tom Brady factor. I mean, how special would that be for him to lead this team there of all places?
Be awesome. I mean, this guy's only in his second year, and this is his first year in a brand new system with every single coach on the offensive side of the ball being different for him to a certain extent. So to be able to have the success he's had, and then to be able to go into Mile High and win a game, I mean, this is what the Patriots fans dreamed of when Tom Brady retired. You're looking for the next guy to come in and lead the charge. And you said it, there's so many records that are already in place for Drake May. You get there, and now there's a statue built of the guy that you're trying to follow behind in Tom Brady, and to do something that you feel like is Brady-esque going on the road in the AFC Championship game in your second year and winning the game. I mean, it would be fantastic for Drake May and for this entire organization. And it's something that is easy, not easily easily, but it's something that they have the team to accomplish it. So if you're Drake May and you're this Patriots team, you're walking into Mile High and you don't give a damn about what the record's been before you got there. You have all the confidence in the world that you can get there and you can win this game on Sunday, and you can start to envision yourself with those 2 weeks of prep to get ready to head to Santa Clara to play in the Super Bowl.
What's the quick fix for the fumbles? Are you looking at Will Campbell, Jared Wilson? You looking at Drake? You looking at Josh McDaniels and the plays that he's calling up? Like how do they kind of just attack that this week?
Yeah, all of the above. For Drake May, when you're in the pocket, we gotta have two hands on the ball. And that came up after Atlanta Falcons game when he had fumbles. And it's getting back to those fundamentals. And when you get to this point in the season, like you're trying to make a play. And the one thing that I do admire about Drake, which he's gotten better at throughout the course of the season, is understanding the play calls. When I have max protection, I know I got a little bit longer to hold on to the football because I have 7 guys in there blocking. When it's a quick 3-step and there's only 5, I got to get the ball out quick. He made that mistake versus the Chargers, ended up in a fumble. So I think a lot of what we're going to see Sunday is Josh McDaniels. He has to figure out a way to, how do I help Will Campbell? I can't leave him one-on-one against Nick Bonito a ton in this game. He's a rookie, and you can criticize him all you want. There's been a gauntlet going against Khalil Mack and Odafe Owe with the Chargers, and then you get Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, and now you're getting Bonito and Cooper. These are 3 of the best defenses in the NFL that they've seen in these playoffs. But there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Like, you got to get in there, you got to figure it out. So I do expect McDaniels to have a lot of help his way. I expect him to run the football at Bonito and try to slow him down that way. So McDaniels, that's his superpower of figuring out what your strength is and finding a way to attack it and try to beat it.
All right, 2 more from me if you got time.
Yes, sir.
Who's the X factor in this one?
Man, I think we mentioned Will Campbell. I think on the defensive side of the ball, I'm looking at Milton Williams. I think what he was able to do last week with his penetration is a huge piece to it. And in the back end on the defensive side of the ball, Craig Woodson. I mean, he was unbelievable all over the place. If he can make plays against Jarrett Stidham from a disguise standpoint and doing those things, and they can get pressure, is going to be huge for them. And then on the other side of the ball, Travion Henderson. I think obviously they're going to get Ramondre Stevenson going. You try to get the downhill run game, but those explosive plays, if he can make plays out of the backfield, because how you attack this Broncos defense, a lot of it throughout the course of the season has been the running backs and the tight ends. So Travion Henderson potentially in the pass game, and then Hunter Henry as well, being able to get him the ball over the middle, matched up with some of the safeties. We saw the Bills do that against him a week ago, and they had success.
Good man. And then just last one. How do you see this ending Sunday?
I do see the Patriots victorious. I saw Robert Kraft and Jonathan Kraft before the game Sunday, and I was telling them I saw it being a low scoring game and the Patriots coming out on top. And Jonathan gave me a hard time and said when I walk on the Houston sideline, I'm probably going to tell them the same exact thing. But I feel like I think Stidham's going to play well in this game. I think he's going to surprise a few people, but I do think the game's going to come down to the fourth quarter, and it's going to probably come down to a 2-minute drive. And I believe in Drake May to be the quarterback over Stidham to be able to propel his team to victory. So I do have the Patriots winning this one and head into the Super Bowl.
Mark it down. Much appreciated, Mr. McCourty. Appreciate your
Yes,
time,
sir.
man.
Anytime, man.